Can all of you search www.kahoot.lk? And then I want all of you to join in, right? It's going to be a little bit like a game, right? Just for me to see your knowledge. And after that, I'll be doing the session, right? You can search www.kahoot.it and then insert the game pin, which is given on the screen. Could you join soon so that we could start soon? Hello?
Yes, Akka.
Okay, it's 0. That means I'm still waiting. If at least 2 are there, I can start. Hello? Are you guys trying or what? Okay, wait, let me see. What's it? What is the link? No link. You can just search www.kahoot.it and then just insert the game pin. Simple. Okay, since some of them are joining and stuff, so I'll do the Kahoot first and just start up with the session, okay? Wait, let me share screen. Oops. Wait. Right. So I hope everyone can hear me. So I'm going to start. Right. So first of all, what we're going to talk about is a short story. Right. First of all, now in my class tomorrow, I'm going to start teaching the lumber room. It's going to be the first class for them. So first class, I'm starting off with the short story, the lumber room. So I thought of giving an introduction for introduction of what a short story is beforehand. Right. So like I wanted this to be a little bit interactive, but I know that few interact when it comes to class is done free. I know that pretty much well. So because of that, I'll just go on explaining faster. But in case you guys got doubts, right, I would be glad if you could ask unmuting it, or else like only at the last moment I'll be able to see your doubts. I mean, I won't be going through it otherwise, right? So that's what I meant. All right, wait, let me share screen again. Okay. Right, so hello, can you hear me? Just say that you can hear. It's on the chat screen. Yeah, so game pin, I didn't put the game pin because now some of you are still joining, so I thought of doing the session first and then let's do Kahoot last. Okay, now after I share screen, someone tell me whether you could hear me or not, because sometimes my mic gets off after I share screen. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Okay. More you help me, the more I can go faster. Right, so what we're going to do is we are going to talk about what a short story is. So first of all, you need to know in your O-level syllabus, there are 2 short stories, right, from the prose section. Now, you know, in literature syllabus, you have 2 novels. One of you can select either of it, right? You can, I think it's 2. I don't know whether there's more. I know that there is Prince and the Pauper and the Vendor of Sweets. So in my sessions, I'm doing the Vendor of Sweets. I'm not doing Prince and the Pauper. I think you have Begin Tony Home also. So I'm not doing those. I'm only doing the Vendor of Sweets, right? And then you have poetry. You have 20 poems in your syllabus. And you have 2 dramas, which is The Bear and Twilight of a Crane. And you have 4 prose sections. So 2 of them are stories. One of it is extract from a speech, which is the Lahore Tag. It's from an extra speech. And if you take Wave, it's an extract from the novel, right? So what we're going to talk about is the elements of a short story. So first of all, you need to know what a short story is. A short story means a fictional narrative. A short fictional narrative. So what is a short fictional narrative? Short, brief. Okay, you know that. Short means short. Then fictional. So there is something called fiction and non-fiction, right? There's something called fiction and non-fiction. Fiction means something, you know, something in your imagination, right? It really exists. Non-fiction means something based on reality. So that is fiction, non-fiction. So short is something which is made up. So it's a short, made up thing. Narrative means story. So a short made up story is what you call a short story. Okay, so in simple words, this is what it means. Then what are the characteristics of short story? If we are talking about the characteristics, one thing is that it is brief. So in the name itself is given short story. It's brief. You can read it. You can finish reading the whole story by just sitting once. That means it's now 2 hours to read. If you take a within a short time period, you can finish reading it. And the next one is focus on only one incident. So it's like conflict, right? That means it's like one, right? Can me? Number room, what's the storyline? Anyone who knows? I told you, the more you interact with me, the more I can teach. No idea? Hello? Anyone, just try, because the more only if you talk, I know that you know. If you don't know, then I can teach. Kids, don't put things on the chat screen. I can't see the chat screen when I have screen shared. Okay. So I think your things are on the chat screen, which I won't see. Okay. So try to cooperate. Okay. Right. Then you have a single setting and a limited number of characters. It's 2 points. I have given it together. It's 2 points. Okay. It should come after. Okay. So one incident. Okay. I didn't explain the second point. Focus only on one incident. That means that if you take Nightingale in the Rose, what happens is, hello? Okay. So what happens is in Nightingale and the Rose, you can see something like this. Now there's a boy who is in love with a girl, and the girl has put on a condition that she would dance with him only if he brings a red rose in a season where red roses, you can't find red roses. Okay. So that's the storyline. So it's just that. Okay. So it doesn't talk about many different places or many different many different incidents. Just based on one incident. So at last you just have a particular plot, just one plot. Now not a series of episodes. Now if you take a novel, it's like a series of episodes now, right? So that's what it means. Then a single setting, a single setting is one setting. I'll explain you what a setting is, right? So just for now, remember, one setting means background. So it's just having one background. Then a limited number of characters. So if you take, if we just talk about the lumber room, you have Aunt, Nicholas, and a few of the like the boy cousin, girl cousin. I mean, Bob, Ben, blah blah blah. Just a few, right? Then covers a short period of time. So that means the story is about just like they're not giving a huge range of times going passing, right? So that's what it means, covers a short period of time. Then one major theme. This is important. One major theme. So they are a theme. So when we say theme, we usually write a list of themes. We put a S and write a list of themes, right? So like, but if you just take it in particular, all these themes could be summarized into one. Now, if you just say, things like, if you just talk about, even if you take, whatever it is. Now, if you take now the poems, right? Don't we discuss themes under all those poems separate, like 4-5 themes, but still you saw how they have divided, right? Now, if you take To the Nile, the Evening Star, and the Eagle, and all that, all those poems come under the main theme of nature. All those talk about nature. So like that, in a short story, this every short story has one main theme, right? Then next one is may or may not have a definite conclusion, no outcome. May or may not have. Now, sometimes some short stories end in an abrupt way. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් ඔයා දන්නේ ඉවරුනාට පස්සේ එතනින් එහාට මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා දන්නේ. We'll just take for an example. Okay, we'll just take, okay, there's a story which I'm saying and all that, and I'm saying, okay, the girl and boy were ready to go away. A bus came and the boy got on, and the story ends, and we're like, it's sudden, right? You don't know what happens next. Next, so might be the girl ran after the bus, might be the boy came back, remembering that he left the girl. We don't know, right? So that's what it says. May or may not have a definite conclusion or outcome. Right, so these are the characteristics of a short story. Is it clear? Just say yes or no.
Yes, madam.
Yes, right. Next, now we are going to talk about the elements of a short story. So inside a short story, there are many elements, but we'll talk about few of the basic elements. So the first one is setting. Then you have characters, the plot. Under the plot, you get after that you have conflicts, point of view, and theme. So I'll be explaining one by one. Now we are going to talk about the setting. So what is setting? Setting, I told before when we were discussing the elements of the characteristics of a short story, that setting means background. Background එක. හරිද? ඒ කියන්නේ වටපිටාව. Background එක. Background කිව්වම what do you get? You have 5 things, right? When you say background, the background covers the place where it takes place, the time duration. So like if you take what kind of era, Victorian age, now if you say Sri Lankan poema, so the background is going to be something in Sri Lanka, and this particular place, this particular time. And if we are talking about rich class, middle class, like that, right? Upper middle class, lower middle class, whatever their social condition, right? Fatherless, motherless, like that. Those things are the setting. That is the background, right? If we just talk about now, if you take Nightingale and the Rose, it's somewhat like a winter period, like somewhat like a cold period, right? So you can take it under weather, and then mood and the atmosphere, right? That means the surrounding. What kind of a surrounding? That means now if you take Sri Lanka in during the terrorist period, right? So then atmosphere terrorist violence, right? So that kind of a setting, buying in the characters are in fear, right? So although that is the setting, right? That is what the setting means. So there is something called, there are two topics under the setting to be discussed as integral setting and backdrop setting. Integral setting and backdrop setting. Now these things which I'm explaining you now are not for you to memorize, but this is important for you to understand a story. This is important for you to answer questions given by a story, both context and essay type. So I'll tell you what integral setting is. So here, integral setting means the setting is fully described, right, in both time and the place. So that is, you find integral setting most in kind of like historical fictional stories, right? Somewhat historical ones. So if you take backdrop setting, in backdrop setting is something like, some kind of a timeless. They haven't given a time, but they have just, started up saying, once upon a time, there was a big palace with all this. So here, you're not certain on when, where, or how, but setting is given, right? But the place and the time, although they say the place and the time, you can't, particularly spot out what or where. Now, if you tell, for an example, in fairy tales, in folk tales, right now, අන්දරේගේ story එකේ ඔයාට setting එක කියන්න කිව්වොත් ඔයාට integral setting එකක් දෙන්න බෑ, because you don't know historically this where what, right? You don't know what time, what place properly to say. Although short story is fictional now, but like if you take now, there's a short story collection called Dubliners by James Joyce. So there he has plotted out kind of a city called, now he has taken the city of Dublin and created a story. So there we know the setting is Dublin, although that story, those stories are all fictional tales, right? So that is integral. But if you take backdrop, it's something like a story, like a fairy tale, like once upon a time there was a big fairyland and there was an emperor who lived in that big palace. It was a very cold period. So that is a backdrop setting. Is setting clear now? Any doubts about the setting? Hello?
No, ma'am.
No, right. Now we are going to talk about the characters, right? Characters. What is a character? A character is an animate figure within a story. Animate figure. Okay. Now you come across this point: animate and inanimate. Animate means something living, right? So now if you take, it can even be an animal, it can be a tree or whatever, so it can be personified. No, I hope you guys have an idea about literary devices, right? Personification means attributing human qualities, right? Human traits to an inanimate object or a thing or animal, whatever, right? So that is personification. So here, when you give life, when you have something which is live in the story, that is a character. So there are main characters and also sub characters. Now let's talk about the classification of characters. Characters can be classified in many ways, right? But I have just picked up two. According to the principality, that means the normal principles, we usually divide the characters as the protagonist and the antagonist. Now, protagonist means the person who we usually sympathize, who we usually consider as a hero. That's the protagonist, right? Now, for an example, if you take the lumber room, in the lumber room, the protagonist is Nicholas, right? The protagonist is Nicholas. An antagonist is the villain, the person who is opposing the protagonist. Usually, the antagonist is the person who creates the conflicts in the story. So in our story, The Lumber Room, the antagonist is Nicholas's aunt, right? And then under the same, you have something called foil character. So that is like, they are character, that means, somewhat like, they are also somewhat. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Right. Okay. So in this, what happens is, right, so this is a figure where their personality, that means their personal behavior, is somewhat opposite to the main character, right? This foil character. And this foil character is used as a supporting character to make the to highlight the protagonist, right? There's something called foil character, which I have not given, okay, because that's not that important. And another way that you can classify characters are depending according to their development. That is dynamic and static. Or you can say, okay, I have made a little mistake. It should be static or round. This one should be static or, okay, I'll use a different color. Static or round, okay? Static round, not dynamic, static or round, right? So here, according to the development, you have something called dynamic or round characters. So these are the characters which are, usually you have a developing personality in that character. Okay, so mostly the dynamic characters, like who we see as dynamic, are the main characters. Mostly, right? They are the people who have a strong effect to the story's plot. That is like the protagonist, antagonist, and all, right? So they will be the people who are rounding up. So you say round characters means the rounded individuals, right? So the story's plot and everything is depending mostly on these characters, right? The changing of the narration, and the development of emotions and expressions are based on these dynamic characters. So these are the dynamic characters. Then static characters means, a static character means this is a flat character. You also call it stock character, also called stereotypes. So these characters, they don't have, we just see one side of them, one aspect of them. They are, they are like they are kind of like supporting characters. They can be good and also bad. They can be good characters, also bad characters, but they are kind of sub characters who are just, we just see one side of them, just one aspect about them. We don't get much of the development or whatever in a flat character. So this is the classification of a character. Are you guys okay with this character classification? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Next, characterization. Can someone check and tell me whether the meeting is being recorded? A big help. Is it recorded? Yes, no? Yes, all right, thank you. Okay, characterization. Characterization means these are the methods how the personality of the character is being revealed, right? So this characterization is something which is very, very, very important for you guys, because you get most of the questions basing on characterization, right? You get many questions basing on characterization, like, talk about Nicholas's character, to talk about Anne's character. And even if you just have a question basing on the thematic concerns, to highlight the themes, to give the themes, to give out the meaning of the themes, you need to point out the characterizations of the characters, right? How the characters are being represented, how the characters have supported to give away the main idea of the theme. Okay, that is why characterization is important. Then there are many ways, but I have given you four main ways for you to have some sort of an attention, to identify the personality of these characters. So there are four. First one is what the narrator says about the character. So you need to see what the narrator says, the person who writes, the speaker says about the character. The second one is what the other characters say about the character. Like, for an example, I'm saying, right, now I'm also, okay, just imagine Jane is one character and Peter is the main character. So Jane is saying, Peter is my husband, and Peter is a very kind man. He's very humble. He's always generous. So now we get to know Peter's story from Jane, right? So that means you're getting to know about this character from another character. Third one, what the characters say about himself or herself. So now Peter itself is saying, okay, so what happens? We know that he's someone who gets angry always. Then fourth point, what the character actually does. So that means how he behaves inside the story, right? Whether he really acts kind to people, whether he does wicked stuff, right? So that from that you can identify. Is characterization okay? Any doubts? So far good? Hello? Any doubts?
Clear, ma'am.
No. Perfect. Okay. Next, we have to talk about, Lochana is asking for the link. 1 minute. I believe they are in the group. I don't know why they are inboxing me. Okay, right. Plot. The plot is a sequential and a series of connected events of a story. Okay, so it's something like a step by step going on thing, and it is also interconnected to each other, right? So it's like the episodes. Okay. Then inside a plot, there are 5 stages, right? There are 5 stages of a plot, as the introduction, the rising action. The introduction, you also call it exposition. Then you have the rising action. Then you get on to the climax. Then you come across the falling action, and last the denouement or the resolution, right? So it goes somewhat. Oops. Okay, right. It comes like something like this. It comes like, it goes like, sorry, wait. I'm not good at drawing. Like this, and there's a rising action, and then comes somewhere up to like here, and then comes to resolution. So here, this is the place of the rising action, right? The story rises. The introduction or the exposition. So the introduction or the exposition means this is like introducing the characters, the basic elements, the setting, the situation. Right? So it's like it's the beginning, it's the base of the story, right? The background information needed to understand the story is given here, like the characters, the background setting, and so on. Then you have the rising action. The rising action means this part. This is the rising action. Rising action means this is the place where, this is the stage where the conflict of the story develops, right? The conflict of the story develops here. Then this part is kind of, now first part, if you take the introduction or the exposition, it's like, it's like somewhat like a description. But in the rising action, you find it very, rising action looks very lively and dramatic. And you can see a lot of actions and some reactions and stuff taking place. So it's like, something like, so you're coming to this point now. The point you should reach is this point. So to come to this point, now your situation, now it's rising. Okay, so you're rising, you're climbing the peak. So this is the portion of the story where the conflict is getting developed. Then you come to this maximum point. This point, which you call the climax. The climax of the story. Climax of the story refers to the turning point of the story. This is where the story turns upside down. So you can see here, and then it comes down, right? So there you can see that there is a turning point. So the climax is the turning point of the story. Right? So this is the point where the story changes. Right? So then it can be starting from a positive thing and ending in a negative thing, whatever. So the changing point. So most of the time the problems, like the central problem is given out in the climax point. Then right, then you come to the falling action. You come to the falling action. Falling action means this part. Falling action means what happens here is that the climax of the story is getting solved little by little, right? The things start working out. Okay, so now you're coming down the mountain, right? You're coming down the mountain slowly. So what happens is here, the problem is little by little getting solved. So you're coming towards the end. This is the portion of the story where the conflict is getting solved or decreased. Then finally, you come to the denouement, which you also call resolution. This part. So this part of the story is where you have reached the bottom of the mountain. So here the solution of the story is given. The conflict is being resolved, right? The conflict is being resolved. So this is the plot construction. Okay, so this is what you call the plot. These are the 5 stages of a plot. Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now we have to talk about the conflicts. That means the conflicts. That means the problem of the story, which is been going on. Okay, let's see what a conflict mean. A conflicts mean the opposition of forces which ties one incident to another. That means the problems, right? The development of problems. So this is what keeps the story moving. The conflicts are of 2 types, which is internal conflicts and external conflicts. Internal conflict means the main character is struggling within its own mind, within the character's own mind. So the problem is with the character, with his self, the man versus self. Then external conflicts mean the main character is struggling, might be with another character, might be with the society, might be with some sort of a natural force. So something, the conflicts is between the character with the main character with something other than him. So internal means him struggling with himself, him struggling inside his internal mind. And external conflicts means the main character is struggling, might be with another character, might be with the society, or might be with the nature. So that is what conflict means. Is conflict also okay? Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have the point of view, right? The point of, if we are talking about the point of, we just learned 3 things as first person, second person, third person, right? So first person point of view means the internal narrator. So I'm narrating my story. So I'm going to say like, I went here, I went there, like that. So inside point of view, there is so much things to be talked about, because now there is a specific reason for every writer to select this particular point of view to express it, right? Now, if you take first person, there is a particular reason for him to select first person. So when I'm discussing the stories, I will explain that, because if I say it now, you won't understand, because you need to read the story and then figure it out. So after I read the story with you guys, after I do Lumber Room, I'll be teaching the point of view part. Okay. So just for now, just have the idea on your head. Next, you have second person point of view. So it's you. It's like you went to church with your family, and suddenly the bomb blasted, and you saw how the people run weeping with tears and blood. Now who is he addressing? The speaker, the writer is addressing the reader. So whoever who reads is the person who is involved in the story. The writer makes you engaged. So that is one way of narration. Third one is third person. So third person can be divided into 3 as third person limited, third person objective, and third person omniscient. So what you have is third person omniscient in your syllabus. So third person means you should know you are giving the story as he, she, it, or whatever. You're not using I or you. So you're totally eradicating yourself out of the story. Right? The writer is out of the story. He's not involved in the story. Omniscient means all-knowing, right? So the all-knowing speaker, right? So here what happens is we get to know the story from some other character, right? According to some other character's eyes. I told you point of view won't be much clear unless we read a story and see this in practice. Okay, so I'll be doing it, don't worry. Next you have a point of view means the angle from which the story is told. So point of view is okay. Are you guys clear with the point of view? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now we are talking about the theme, right? What is a theme? The theme refers to the main idea or the underlining meaning. The main idea, the underlining meaning, or even we can say the hidden idea or the main objective of the writer to write this particular story, right? The main essence of the story, the main message, the main idea of the story is the theme. Themes can be divided into two, as major themes and minor themes. So if I tell you what major and minor means, now if you say, if you take the same, I'll just simply take a poem, The Eagle, right? If you take the poem The Eagle, the major theme is nature, simply said nature. Under that, minor themes, you can say appreciation of nature, the authoritativeness of nature, or you can say power, right? Superiority and inferiority. Like that, you can take minor themes, right? So that is major and minor. Then, okay, wait, tell me, are you guys okay with the theme? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we have the style. Style refers to the choice of words, right? How the, like, simply said, it's the choice of words, sentence length and construction, exposition and dialogue. Okay, I'll explain you one by one. Choice of words means, the diction. That means, what you call, simple language, and, what kind of the Vag Vilasika again, that is choice of words. Then you have second one, sentence length and construction. Sentence length means either it's short or long. So if it's a long sentence, so that it works well with, if it is a description, if it is, having a lot of explanation, and also for that you find a lot of long sentences. And but in case, he wants to convey something, with urgency or suspense, or if the writer wants to create some sort of a tension, then he or she would use short sentences. So even in the style, there is a reason for them to use a particular style. So style differs from writer to writer. It sometimes differs from era to era. So that is why identifying the style is important to understand the story. Then exposition. Exposition means the, like how it is given, like example, if you take provide how the background information is given out, like introducing the characters and all that. So that is also style, the way that is given. Now if you take, a children's story, how they give in a children's story, how the characters are given in a children's story, right? How they are being introduced also differs. That is also style. So if I'm writing adult story, I can be like, once upon a time there was a beautiful princess staying inside a big castle, waiting for her charming prince to come and take her home. I can't tell that in an adult book, no. I can't use that in Famous Five. I can write that in Alice in Wonderland. Right, so that's the difference. Then dialogue. So dialogues means the words spoken by the characters. It can be, talking to themselves, talking with another character whatsoever. But when we are talking about dramas, when we discuss the elements of the drama, we will be learning about soliloquy and all that, right? Monologues and all. So simply said, for now, we'll just have dialogues as what the characters speak. So it can be, so most of the time when you use dialogues, the story becomes more lively, more realistic, and also it's like more convincing, and the message is given, is conveyed in a much more, it's like a much, it's a better approach, right? That means the readers have much, how do I say it, understand it, or feel it more. So that is style. This is what you call style. Is this element also okay?
Yes, teach.
Right. Next one is tone. Tone means the manner of expression and the mood of the writer. So that is like, is it in a sad mood? Is it given in a, high pitch? Is it like given in some sort of a sarcastic manner? Is it given in, some sort of a sympathetic perspective? So that is what a mood means. There's nothing much in mood. Tone, right? So, all right. Okay. So these are the elements of the short story. So I'll just go passing one by one. Please tell me whether it's clear, okay? If you have anywhere, if you want to stop me, just stop me and ask. Characteristics of the short story, are you guys okay with this? I just want to, have it confirmed. Are you guys okay with the characteristics?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, no? Yes. Elements? Are you guys okay with the
Madam, the point
setting?
of-
What?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes.
The point of view.
The
Can you
point of view,
explain that?
isn't it clear enough? The point of view part.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, which part? Okay, which part? From the point of view, which part is not clear? The whole part?
objective.
Yeah, the objective, the third person objective and third person limited is not related to your syllabus. That's why I didn't explain that. In your stories, they are given in third person omniscient.
So what's that, madam?
That's
Can
not
you?
related. Hello? Yes? Yes, what did you say?
Can you explain that,
You-
madam?
Right. Okay. You just want to know. Okay. So if you tell limited narration, you should use the limited narration in third person. So what happens here is, the narrator is not the character, obviously, because it's third person, but you're looking at the story through the eyes of a single character, right? You're looking at the story through the eyes of a single character, but not one of the main. Just have that idea for now. It's something like that. But if you take objective, so object is also somewhat like that. So like overall, if you say it's third person, right? Third person narration, the way there's a slight difference between the three. What's important is the omniscient narrator, because omniscient narrator is what you see in your context, right? So if you are doing advanced level and all that, you will need those. But for now, like I will be explaining limited and objective also when I'm doing the short stories, because when after I explain you what omniscient narrator is properly, then it's easier for me to explain what third person limited and third person objective means. So if I go and explain it now, you'll get confused. Is that okay?
Yes, madam. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Right. Then theme, style, are you guys okay with them? The tone?
Yeah, ma'am.
Right, okay. All right, so you guys are okay with the elements. Then, okay, let's try on Kahoot. Okay. Okay, go to Kahoot, search www.kahoot.it, and then put this game pin. And look, I'll give you guys 2 minutes. Join as soon as you can, okay, so that we can make things fast. Right, since there are, I'm going to start. Pick your answers, time's going.
Miss.
Hello. Guys, can you hear? Hello. You hear? Uh, in- Mm, can I hear? I had some yeah. Okay, let's see whether it works out now. Okay, guys. Okay. Can you hear me? One thing, can you hear me?
Yes, Akka.
Three. Okay, I think something was wrong with my connection. Okay, now it should. Okay, I think something's wrong with my Kahoot. Oh, okay, it works. Sorry, students, I'm having a drop in my connection. Time to time, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, please work now, for God's sake. We have 3 questions more. All right, okay. Yes, hello. Can you hear me? Just simply say whether you could hear me or not.
Yeah, ma'am.
All right, right,
Yes.
okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, Miss Kai is still in the lead. Let's see. The 2 prose passages written in third person omniscient narrative style. 2 prose. So prose means something. It can be a novel, it can be, yeah, it can be some sort of thing related to story or something. Now you guys already know one story in omniscient narrative because it was there in a before question. And now I have just added on one more. Okay, Sadhini is close by to Miska. Let's see how things go. The setting of the short story, the number room is the setting. What is the setting? Aren't the others trying? Is it just 2-3 people here trying it? Now, don't worry. I'll be discussing all these things, setting of each and every story and all that in class. So don't worry. I just want to see your average, average knowledge. Good. We got 3. Try to give your authentic answers. I was taken back. How can this man value his life than mine? Answer stream of consciousness. At the top, okay, third is Imashi, second is Miska. First is Sanidhi. Well done. Miska was at the top now. It's Sanidhi. Right. Okay, well done. Okay, so I'll be things, don't worry. Okay, I'll be discussing. Okay, I get something on the chat screen. I didn't see the chat screen. What is it? I don't have data. Can you start Kahoot from the beginning? Right. Okay, sorry kids, I told I might not see the chat screen, right? Okay, so so basically tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to read the Lumber Room, the story together, first reading. So my modules are going to go like this. So if it's a short story, I'll be first reading the short story and explaining it, because number 1 rule is understanding. After that, second round, I'll be discussing, like while reading, I'll be like, okay, this is a theme. This is a theme, and this is how the questions can be asked. This is a character triad. So you will be writing, okay, this is the character. And the relevant quotation. Like that, we'll have our own short notes. Okay, so under the themes, under the techniques, we'll be making our own short notes, whereas whatever the question comes, you are ready to give the answer, right? So that's how I'm preparing you. Then after that, the third reading, that means for every story, we'll be having 3 readings. So first reading is reading it for understanding and enjoyment. Second reading is going to be, in-depth analysis. Third reading is going to be evaluation. That means we are going to do it through questions, right? So those are the 3 steps I'm going to follow for each and every genre. Each and every genre, right? All the 4, right? You have poems, you have dramas, you have prose, and you have a novel. So all these genres I'll be going through in that manner. So tomorrow, Monday, Monday 5 to 7:30, and then again I have Monday and Wednesday. So Monday and Wednesday I'll be doing the Lumber Room first reading. Okay. So once you're coming tomorrow, just let me if you guys are not in my proper class group, Okay, I mean, because it's a first class, I'm starting for them a new batch, which is starting tomorrow. So the ones who are not inside, ones who are not in that group and want information, they could inbox me and ask. So this wasn't done in the purpose of a promotion, but I just wanted to do it as a helping hand. If you guys don't mind, you could just give me a feedback whether you guys understood the lessons or not via WhatsApp, so that I just can have a count that whether you got something out of the lesson or not. Okay, so that's what I want. Okay, I don't want anything else from you. Just let me know whether the lesson was clear, whether you understood the things clearly. Okay, right. So then I'm winding off the session. If you have any friends who missed this session, I'll be uploading the recording so that you can share it with them. Okay. Hello.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, right. Okay, welcome. Okay, I'm buying the session then. Have a nice day. Good night. Bye bye. Stay safe.
Good night,
Usually in my
doctor. Thank
physical
you.
classes, yeah. Yes, in my classes, I'm turning on my camera and doing sessions. Like only for free classes, I'm not turning on the camera in the sake of privacy and all that. Whatnot, because we are females, and even if it's a male these days, it's not safe because it's technology. So when I'm doing free classes, I don't turn on my camera and do classes. But when it comes to my private classes, yes, I do turn on the camera and do the sessions. Okay, so then I think no more further questions. If you got any, you could ask me via WhatsApp. So I'm winding up the session then. Take care. Bye.